Hot take. Your RAG system probably is not failing because the model is dumb. It is failing because retrieval is handing it the wrong evidence.
And that is exactly where a reranker comes in. A reranker is the second judge. It takes the first batch of retrieved results and reorders them by how well each one actually matches the user's question.
So, the first step searches, the second step judges. Why is that not just one problem?
Because they optimize for different things. First, retrieval is built for speed and recall. It tries to grab a decent candidate set fast. Reranking is built for precision. It spends more attention deciding which of those candidates deserve the top slots.
Give me a real example, because this sounds neat, but abstract.
Say a user asks, how do I reset admin access after single sign-on migration? The first retriever may pull documents about password resets, admin roles, SSO setup, and migration notes, because the keywords and embeddings overlap. A reranker looks at the whole question and says, no, the migration troubleshooting note is the one that truly answers this.
So, retrieval is broad on purpose, but broad can poison the answer if the wrong chunks rise to the top.
Exactly. In most RAG systems, the model only sees a limited context window. If the top few chunks are merely related instead of directly relevant, the generator starts reasoning over noise. Then people blame generation when the ranking was the real defect.
That is the dangerous part, right? Bad ranking does not always look obviously broken. It can produce answers that sound polished and still drift off course.
Yes, the system feels confident because it has context, just not the best context. Re-ranking improves quality by increasing the odds that the most useful evidence gets into the prompt before the model starts talking.
Walk me through the pipeline in plain English.
Step 1. The user asks a question. Step 2. The first retriever pulls, say, 20 or 50 candidate chunks, using vector search, keyword search, or both. Step 3. The re-ranker scores those candidates against the full query and sorts them again. Step 4. You send the top few into generation.
And that middle step can change the winner.
Often dramatically. Think about an internal engineering wiki. A query like, why did the checkout service start timing out after the cache change, might retrieve generic pages on timeouts, cache configuration, deployment history, and a postmortem. The re-ranker can push the actual postmortem and the specific rollout note above the generic docs.
So this is not just cleaner search. This is a power shift inside the pipeline. The generator gets better evidence, which means fewer hallucinations and fewer half-right answers.
Right, but there is a trade-off. Re-ranking costs extra latency and compute because it examines each candidate more carefully. That means you do not use it to search the whole corpus. You use it on a narrowed candidate set.
That difference matters. First retrieval is the net. Re-ranking is the sorting table.
Good metaphor. The net catches possible matches. The sorting table decides what actually goes to the customer. If your net is too tight, you miss documents. If your sorting table is weak, junk rises to the top.
Where do teams usually get this wrong?
They look at top K retrieval metrics and assume they are done. But having the right chunk somewhere in the top 20 is not the same as putting it in the top 3 that the model sees. Re-ranking attacks that exact gap.
Let's make that painfully concrete.
Imagine a support bot for a fintech app. A user asks, why was my wire transfer reversed after compliance review? Initial retrieval finds policy pages on wire limits, reversal definitions, KYC checks, and a detailed exception policy about compliance-triggered reversals. Without re-ranking, the model may answer with generic transfer failure reasons. With re-ranking, that exception policy moves to the top, and the answer becomes specific, accurate, and defensible.
And in regulated domains, that difference is not cosmetic. One answer creates trust. The other creates tickets, escalations, maybe legal pain.
Exactly. Winners and losers here are not abstract. Better ranking can reduce support volume, improve resolution quality, and stop users from getting confidently wrong explanations.
How do you know a re-ranker is worth the complexity?
Look for cases where your retriever finds relevant material, but the final answer still misses the point. If manual review shows the good evidence was retrieved but buried, re-ranking is a strong candidate. It is especially useful for nuanced queries, long-tail wording, and corpora with many near duplicate or loosely related chunks.
So if the problem is recall, fix retrieval. If the problem is ordering, fix ranking.
Yes. Do not ask a reranker to rescue documents that never got retrieved, and do not ask a fast retriever to make the nuanced judgment a reranker is designed to make.
That is the clean mental model. First get the candidates, then decide which evidence deserves the scarce real estate in the prompt.
And that scarce real estate is the whole game. In RAG, the model is only as grounded as the few pieces of context you choose to trust.
So a re-ranker is not a nice extra. It is the bouncer at the door, deciding which facts get into the room.
Exactly. Retrieval finds possibilities. Re-ranking chooses authority. And in RAG, the answer usually belongs to whoever ranks the evidence best.